Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something absolutely fascinating, something that most people underestimate, and that is the body's incredible ability to heal itself. The human body is a masterpiece of intelligent design, constantly working behind the scenes to repair, restore, and rebalance itself. Every moment, millions of microscopic processes are taking place within you, and their primary goal is simple maintain life and health. When we cut our skin, the body immediately activates clotting factors, sends immune cells to prevent infection, and begins producing new tissue to seal the wound. The same principle applies internally, whether it's repairing DNA damage, regenerating liver tissue, or balancing hormones. The body has an extraordinary capacity for healing when the right conditions are present. The problem is that most people live in ways that block this natural ability. Modern lifestyles filled with sugar, processed foods, chronic stress, and sleep deprivation interfere with the healing systems that are already built into the body. Instead of allowing the body to do its job, many of us are constantly putting out small fires caused by the things we eat and the way we live. Healing, therefore, isn't something we need to force, it's something we need to allow. When you remove the interference, the body automatically moves toward balance. The immune system becomes more efficient, inflammation drops, and energy production increases. Take, for example, how the body manages inflammation. Inflammation itself isn't the enemy, it's part of the repair process. When there's injury or infection, inflammation helps remove damaged cells and bring in nutrients for repair. The problem occurs when inflammation never turns off, which is often caused by chronic insulin spikes, nutrient deficiencies, or persistent stress. When insulin levels stay elevated because of frequent eating and high carbohydrate intake, the body remains in a constant state of storage and stress, leaving little room for repair. But when insulin drops, as it does during fasting or a low-carb diet, the body activates repair mechanisms like autophagy, the process where cells clean up and recycle damaged components. This is the body's way of healing itself on a cellular level. Another fascinating aspect of the body's healing power is how it prioritizes survival. If something threatens life, the body reroutes energy and nutrients to protect vital organs. That's why chronic stress can slow healing. When the body thinks it's in danger, it shuts down non-essential functions like digestion, reproduction, and long-term repair. It's focused only on immediate survival. This is why relaxation and proper sleep are so important. Deep sleep is when the body performs its most intensive repair work, rebuilding tissue, balancing hormones, and restoring the brain. When we neglect rest, we interrupt this natural process and create an environment that favors degeneration instead of regeneration. The liver provides one of the best examples of the body's capacity to heal. Even after significant damage, it can regenerate a large portion of its tissue if given the right support. However, it can only do this when not overloaded with toxins, alcohol, sugar, and processed oils. By simply removing those stressors and providing the nutrients it needs, like choline, B vitamins, and antioxidants, the liver begins to restore itself. This regenerative ability exists in every system of the body to some degree. The intestines rebuild their lining every few days. The skin replaces itself roughly every month. Even the heart and brain can generate new cells when stimulated by the right nutrients and conditions. What all this reveals is that the body operates with an incredible intelligence far beyond our conscious awareness. It knows exactly what to do. We just need to stop interfering. Every time you choose real food over processed junk, prioritize rest over constant activity, or manage stress rather than ignoring it, you are helping your body heal. The process doesn't require a prescription, only cooperation with nature's design. Healing isn't something that happens to you, it's something your body does for you when given the chance. Healing depends heavily on hormonal balance, and one of the most important hormones involved in this process is insulin. Most people think of insulin only in the context of blood sugar, but its influence reaches far beyond that. Insulin acts like a key that unlocks the cell to allow glucose to enter. But when this key is constantly being used due to frequent eating, snacking, or high carbohydrate meals, the cells eventually stop responding. This is called insulin resistance, and it's at the root of many modern health issues. When insulin remains high for long periods, the body shifts into a constant storage mode, directing energy toward fat accumulation rather than repair. In this state, fat burning, detoxification, and cellular healing all slow down. The body becomes focused on managing incoming fuel rather than cleaning up the damage that already exists. To truly activate healing, insulin must come down, allowing the body to enter a different metabolic state where repair and regeneration can occur naturally. When insulin drops, a powerful switch is flipped inside the body. Instead of burning glucose, the body begins to burn fat for fuel, producing ketones. Ketones are a cleaner, more efficient energy source that not only fuels the brain but also supports cellular repair. They trigger pathways that reduce oxidative stress and inflammation while promoting autophagy, the body's natural recycling system. Autophagy breaks down old, damaged proteins and organelles so that new, healthy cells can take their place. This process is essential for maintaining longevity and preventing disease. When insulin levels are elevated, autophagy is suppressed. When insulin levels are low, it thrives. That's why practices like intermittent fasting and low carbohydrate, nutrient-rich eating are so effective. They allow insulin to drop and healing to begin at the cellular level. Frequent eating, even if the food is considered healthy, can keep insulin high. The idea that we must eat 6 times a day to keep our metabolism running is one of the biggest myths in nutrition. Every time we eat, insulin is released, even if it's just a small snack. Over time, this constant stimulation wears out insulin receptors and creates a state of metabolic confusion. The pancreas has to work harder, producing more insulin to get the same effect, which only worsens the problem. By simply eating less often, 2 or 3 meals a day instead of constant grazing, you give insulin a chance to fall and the body time to reset its sensitivity. This shift restores communication between insulin and the cells, allowing energy to flow more efficiently and healing to accelerate naturally. One of the first things people notice when insulin drops is a dramatic increase in energy. This happens because cells are finally able to access stored fat for fuel. Fat is the body's preferred long-term energy source, and when it becomes available, blood sugar fluctuations decrease. That means fewer energy crashes, less brain fog, and a more stable mood. Beyond energy, lower insulin levels improve the function of nearly every system in the body. Growth hormone levels increase, enhancing tissue repair and fat loss. Inflammation decreases, relieving joint pain and supporting cardiovascular health. The liver begins to burn fat instead of storing it, reducing fatty liver and improving detoxification. The immune system becomes more efficient because it is no longer overloaded with the consequences of chronic high insulin. In essence, reducing insulin is not just about losing weight, it's about unlocking the body's ability to heal. When insulin is under control, the body returns to its natural rhythm of burning, cleansing, and rebuilding. It becomes a self-correcting system once again. This doesn't require extreme dieting or medication. It requires timing, awareness, and simplicity. Eat real food, avoid refined carbs and sugars, and give your body time between meals. Those simple steps allow insulin to drop and open the door for healing to take place on every level. When insulin is low, the body is finally free to do what it was designed to do: repair itself, restore balance, and renew health from within. The liver is one of the most remarkable organs in the human body. A silent workhorse performing hundreds of vital functions every single day. It filters the blood, detoxifies harmful substances, stores nutrients, produces bile for digestion, and manages hormones and energy. Despite being constantly exposed to toxins and metabolic waste, the liver has an extraordinary ability to heal and regenerate. Even if a significant portion of it is damaged, it can rebuild itself when given the right conditions. This regenerative power shows just how intelligent the body's design truly is. However, the liver's healing potential can only be realized when it's not overwhelmed by the constant stream of harmful inputs that modern lifestyles create. Processed foods, sugar, refined carbs, alcohol, and seed oils are some of the biggest enemies of liver health, and they quietly weaken this vital organ over time without producing immediate symptoms. When the liver becomes overloaded with toxins or fat, it loses efficiency. One of the earliest signs of this overload is a fatty liver, a condition now extremely common even among people who don't drink alcohol. Excess sugar, especially fructose, is a major cause because it gets converted into fat directly in the liver. Over time, this buildup of fat interferes with normal liver function and slows detoxification. The good news is that the liver has a built-in mechanism to reverse this, but it needs a break from the constant inflow of sugar and toxins. When you lower carbohydrate intake, stop snacking, and allow the body to burn stored fat through fasting or a ketogenic diet, the liver begins to release accumulated fat and rebuild healthy tissue. This process doesn't require medication. It simply requires creating the right metabolic environment for repair. Nutrient density plays a crucial role in liver healing. The liver depends on certain key nutrients to regenerate and perform its functions effectively. One of the most important is choline, which helps transport fat out of the liver. Without adequate choline, fat becomes trapped inside liver cells, leading to inflammation and scarring. Foods like eggs, liver, and cruciferous vegetables are excellent sources of choline and other liver-supporting compounds. Cruciferous vegetables such as kale, broccoli, And Brussels sprouts contain sulfur compounds that enhance detoxification by supporting the production of glutathione, the body's master antioxidant. Glutathione neutralizes free radicals and helps process toxins safely. When these nutrients are abundant, the liver can clear out waste efficiently, regenerate damaged cells, and function at full capacity. Bile production is another key aspect of liver health. Bile acts as a natural detergent that breaks down fats and carries waste products out of the body. When bile flow is sluggish, toxins can build up and digestion suffers. Supporting bile flow with bitter vegetables, apple cider vinegar, and adequate hydration helps the liver perform one of its most important cleansing roles. Intermittent fasting also supports bile production because it gives the gallbladder time to fill and release bile properly rather than being constantly stimulated by frequent eating. Each time the gallbladder empties, it signals the liver to make fresh bile, which keeps the detox process active and efficient. Beyond nutrition, lifestyle factors greatly affect how well the liver can heal. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which in turn raises blood sugar and contributes to fat buildup in the liver. Lack of sleep reduces the body's ability to carry out nighttime detoxification, a process that primarily happens during deep rest. Even dehydration can slow down liver function because water is necessary to flush out metabolic waste. The liver's healing process, therefore, depends on more than just diet. It's a reflection of overall lifestyle balance. When you remove the daily burden of toxic foods, manage stress, stay hydrated, and provide essential nutrients, the liver naturally begins to repair itself. It doesn't need constant external intervention. It simply needs space and support to do what it is already programmed to do. Once it's allowed to regenerate, energy levels rise, digestion improves, the skin clears, and inflammation fades. This demonstrates how profoundly the liver influences the entire body and how its natural resilience is a core part of the body's built-in healing system. Every cell in the human body depends on nutrients to function, repair, and communicate. Nutrients are not just fuel, they are the language through which the body's systems send signals, build structures, and perform thousands of biochemical reactions every second. Without adequate nutrients, those communication lines become weak or even disconnected, leading to dysfunction and disease. The body cannot properly repair damaged tissue, produce hormones, or protect itself from stress when it lacks essential vitamins and minerals. This is why true healing begins with nourishment at the cellular level. Food is more than calories, it is information. Each nutrient tells the body how to operate, when to repair, and how to regulate energy. When you consume nutrient-rich foods, you are giving your cells the vocabulary they need to express health. Modern diets often fail to deliver the nutrients the body needs to thrive. Processed foods are stripped minerals, refined oils disrupt cellular membranes, and sugar competes with vital nutrients for absorption. Even if someone eats enough calories, they can still be malnourished on a cellular level. Deficiencies in key nutrients like potassium, magnesium, vitamin D, zinc, and B vitamins are especially common, and these deficiencies slow down healing dramatically. For example, magnesium is required in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which are responsible for muscle relaxation, nerve function, and energy production. Without enough magnesium, cells struggle to generate energy, leading to fatigue, cramps, and irritability. Potassium, another vital mineral, helps maintain fluid balance, nerve transmission, and heart rhythm. When potassium levels drop, energy levels and muscle performance decline, and blood pressure rises. These small imbalances create stress within the body that over time accumulates into major dysfunction. Zinc plays a critical role in immune function, tissue repair, and DNA synthesis. It acts as a catalyst for numerous enzymes that rebuild damaged cells and strengthen the immune response. Without zinc, wounds heal slowly, the skin becomes more vulnerable, and the body struggles to fight infections. Vitamin D is another key nutrient, essential not only for bone health but for regulating the immune system and reducing inflammation. In many people, low vitamin D is associated with fatigue, depression, and poor immune defense. When vitamin D levels are optimized, energy improves, mood stabilizes, and inflammation decreases, all of which accelerate the body's healing mechanisms. The synergy between nutrients is also important. For instance, vitamin D enhances calcium absorption, but magnesium and vitamin K2 are needed to ensure that calcium is properly used in bones rather than deposited in arteries. Healing depends on this delicate orchestration, where every nutrient has a role and works in harmony with others. Whole, natural foods are the most reliable source of these essential nutrients. Leafy greens supply magnesium, potassium, and antioxidants that protect cells from oxidative damage. Wild-caught fish and pasture-raised eggs provide omega-3 fats that reduce inflammation and support brain function. Fermented foods feed the gut microbiome, which in turn improves nutrient absorption and immune balance. When people shift from processed, refined foods to whole, nutrient-dense meals, They often notice an immediate change in energy, mood, and mental clarity. This is the body responding to finally receiving what it needs to perform optimally. The communication within the body becomes clearer, hormones rebalance, and healing accelerates naturally. The key is consistency, feeding the body these nutrients daily so that it can continuously repair, regenerate, and maintain stability. Nutrients also influence detoxification and longevity. The liver, for example, relies on compounds like sulfur, B vitamins, and selenium to neutralize toxins. Without them, waste accumulates, slowing down the entire system. Antioxidants such as vitamins C and E, along with compounds found in colorful vegetables, help neutralize free radicals and reduce cellular damage. When nutrient intake is sufficient, the body's repair systems stay active, protecting against premature aging and chronic disease. Every time you eat, you are sending a message to your body, either one that promotes healing or one that contributes to decline. Choosing foods rich in essential vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients allows the body to operate according to its natural design, where energy flows efficiently and repair happens continuously. In this way, nutrients truly are the language of healing, and when spoken fluently, the body listens and responds with vitality, balance, and restoration. Stress is one of the most overlooked barriers to healing. The human body is designed to handle short bursts of stress, like running from danger or adapting to a sudden challenge. But modern life has turned that short-term stress response into a long-term chronic state. The body cannot distinguish between a real physical threat and the mental or emotional stress caused by traffic, financial pressure, or negative thoughts. Every time the brain perceives stress, it signals the adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are incredibly useful in the right context. They raise alertness, mobilize energy, and sharpen focus. However, when stress becomes constant, cortisol remains elevated, and that is when the body begins to break down instead of build up. Chronic stress suppresses the immune system, slows digestion, interferes with sleep, and blocks the very hormones responsible for repair and growth. Over time, it creates a biochemical environment that prevents healing. No matter how well someone eats or exercises, cortisol's primary job is to provide quick energy by increasing blood sugar. In emergencies, this is life-saving, but when cortisol is chronically high, blood sugar stays elevated, leading to higher insulin levels. Elevated insulin, as discussed earlier, prevents fat burning and encourages inflammation, creating a vicious cycle that further damages cells and tissues. High cortisol also suppresses the production of growth hormone, the hormone most responsible for cellular repair, muscle building, and fat metabolism. Without enough growth hormone, the body ages faster, recovery slows, and immune resilience weakens. This explains why people under prolonged stress often experience fatigue, weight gain around the midsection, and frequent illness. The body is stuck in survival mode, and survival mode is not compatible with healing. The longer someone remains in that state, the more the body diverts energy away from long-term repair processes. The key to reversing this state is shifting the body from the sympathetic nervous system, which governs fight or flight, to the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs rest and recovery. The parasympathetic state is where true healing happens. It's during this state that the heart rate slows, digestion activates, and the immune system performs its repair work. One of the most powerful ways to activate this state is through deep breathing. Slow, diaphragmatic breathing signals the brain that you are safe, lowering cortisol and promoting relaxation. Even a few minutes of focused breathing can begin to shift the body out of stress mode. Regular meditation, prayer, or simply spending quiet time in nature has a similar effect. These activities lower the stress response and allow the body's natural healing systems to function again. Sleep is another major factor. During deep sleep, cortisol naturally decreases while growth hormone peaks. This is when the body performs its most important repair work, regenerating tissues, balancing neurotransmitters, and cleansing the brain through a process known as the glymphatic system. When sleep is disrupted by stress, that nightly healing window closes, leaving the body in a constant state of deficit. Prioritizing sleep by creating a dark, quiet environment, maintaining a regular bedtime, and limiting screen time before bed can dramatically improve the body's ability to heal. Similarly, reducing stimulants like caffeine or heavy evening meals helps prevent cortisol spikes at night, allowing for deeper, more restorative rest. Nutrition also plays a supportive role in managing stress. B vitamins, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids all help regulate the nervous system and reduce the impact of cortisol. Magnesium, in particular, acts as a natural relaxant, calming the muscles and the mind. When stress depletes these nutrients, it becomes even harder to recover, so replenishing them through food or supplements is essential. Beyond diet, mindset is critical. The thoughts you think produce real biochemical changes in the body. Positive thinking, gratitude, and emotional awareness reduce stress hormones and increase serotonin and endorphins, creating an internal environment that supports healing. The body listens to your emotional state as closely as it listens to what you eat. When you create calmness, practice self awareness, and give yourself time to rest, the body responds with regeneration, balance, and renewed vitality. Healing is not just about nutrition, it is about the state of your mind and the signals you send to your body every single day. Healing is not something that needs to be forced or manufactured. It is something that naturally happens when the right environment is created. The human body is programmed for balance and restoration, but it can only perform those functions when the conditions support them. When we constantly expose ourselves to processed foods, stress, toxins, and lack of rest, we are creating a state of chaos inside the body. Healing cannot take place in chaos. It takes place in order, in rhythm, in harmony. Just as a seed cannot grow in dry, nutrient, poor soil, the body cannot regenerate in a toxic internal environment. Creating the right environment means removing the obstacles that interfere with the body's design and replacing them with habits and conditions that nurture it. This is the foundation of real sustainable healing. The first element of a healing environment is food. Food is the most direct way we interact with the body every single day, and every bite either contributes to healing or hinders it. Whole nutrient dense foods provide the raw materials the body needs to rebuild tissue, balance hormones, and produce energy. Processed foods, on the other hand, burden the liver, inflame the gut, and disrupt blood sugar levels. By focusing on clean proteins, healthy fats, and plenty of vegetables, we restore the nutritional balance that cells need to perform their functions. This kind of eating lowers insulin, reduces inflammation, and activates fat burning, all of which create the internal chemistry that favors repair. It's not about deprivation or following a trend. It's about cooperation with how the body is designed to work. Intermittent fasting is another key part of creating the right environment. When you fast, you give the digestive system a break, allowing energy to be redirected toward repair and detoxification. During fasting, insulin drops, growth hormone increases, and autophagy turns on, the body's built-in cleaning system that recycles old and damaged cells. These processes don't require external intervention, they simply require time without food. By practicing fasting, you activate the natural rhythm of the body, alternating between nourishment and renewal. This cycle has existed in humans for thousands of years, but modern eating patterns, constant snacking, and late night meals disrupt it and block those natural healing mechanisms. Restoring this rhythm brings the body back to its original state of metabolic balance. Movement is another important part of the healing environment. Exercise improves circulation, oxygenates the cells, and stimulates the release of endorphins that reduce stress. It doesn't have to be extreme. Even walking, stretching, or gentle strength training can make a major difference. Movement tells the body that life is happening, that energy is flowing, keeps lymphatic fluid moving, which is crucial for removing toxins and supporting immune function. When combined with proper hydration, exercise helps the body flush out waste and maintain cellular health. Stillness, however, is just as vital as movement. Rest, meditation, and quality sleep give the nervous system time to reset and activate the parasympathetic state where repair happens. Healing occurs when the body feels safe, and rest communicates safety more powerfully than anything else. Equally important is the emotional and mental environment you create. Negative emotions like resentment, fear, and worry generate biochemical changes that elevate cortisol and disrupt healing. Positive emotions, gratitude, forgiveness, peace have the opposite effect. They calm the nervous system and improve immune function. The mind and body are not separate, they constantly influence each other. Cultivating calm through mindfulness, breathing, prayer, or time in nature creates a state of coherence between the brain and the heart. In this state, the body operates efficiently and healing happens more smoothly. Creating the right environment is about balance in every sense: balanced nutrition, balanced activity, balanced rest, and balanced emotions. When these elements align, the body does what it was designed to do: renew, repair, and restore itself naturally. You don't need to force healing. You simply need to provide the right conditions, and the body will take care of the rest.